So I'm delighted this morning to be with Jane Scroggs, Head of Investor Relations for Estate. And Jane is on the morning event at the Central London Property Meet, which is on Wednesday, the 3rd of May. I can't believe it's May coming up already. Look, Jane's company, Estate, has raised significant amounts of money. It's easier for me to say significant amount of money to remember exactly how much. For
3
me,
million.
what's that?
3 million so far.
For 3 million. So I would say, and most of that, or a lot of that, recently has been through platforms such as Simple Equity. Now, this interview is not about crowdfunding; it's about how to effectively create that network. Of course, if you don't have a network, you're going to find it hard to raise money through crowdfunding. Jane, and I'm really delighted that you're there this coming Wednesday morning at the Central London Property Meet. So huge thanks for accepting the invitation. Look, Jane's not on the circuit, so you won't find Jane yet at every property meet in terms of presenting. So a little bit under the radar in terms of speaking, but certainly not under the radar in terms of networking. What's your three top tips which people can take away today and put into practice, whether they can make the extended presentation from you, Jane, or not? What people can take away from you? And I haven't really gone into your background as well, but you do have quite a long background in property. I think you're involved in an AIM. Was that correct?
Yeah. Just briefly a background. I helped to set up an AIM-listed commercial property fund. So I supported the founder and the team in all areas of investor relations, the admin side. It was a small team, but we had about, I think it was 1.25 billion euros of commercial assets under management. So that was from 2005 to 2013. Part of that was living down in the south of France, working down there. And then I moved into business development within estate planning and tax for property. So big property network. And that's how we met Brendan, I think, a year or so ago. And so very much involved in going to a lot of property meets, creating a good network of people. Because at the end of the day, I really enjoy it. I love networking. I love going out and actually meeting people. And as I mentioned the other day, I didn't realise that was something that people didn't really enjoy. People found that they had to do it and didn't like it. So I was quite interested to find out what makes people scared of networking, what makes people do it, why they do it, and the benefits of it. Because it kind of came naturally to me, the feeling of wanting to do it. So kind of unpack that and try to take some of the things that I love about it and some of the things that I know work and try and deliver those to you on Wednesday next week. So back to the top tips. I'll talk about more on Wednesday, but there's a lot of what goes on behind the scenes in networking. I'm not going to stand there and talk about these are the 3 things you should do, because any website or any networking meeting will tell you, stand this way or say these things. And actually, it's not actually about that. The most important thing is to be yourself. Be you and be okay with who you are and be confident in who you are and what you're delivering. Don't try and be a fake version of you, because that's what you think you should be in a networking event. The most important thing is actually building that connection with people. And when you have an unauthentic version of you, it energetically doesn't come across well. So you have to just very much be yourself. The other tip that I give is set an intention. Why are you going to that networking event? Most people work hard, obviously, or they travel to these. Why do people go networking? Why do people actually go? It's because they want something from the evening, whether that's to get business, to meet people, to be seen, to get information. So be very clear as to why you're spending maybe 5 hours of your time, your precious time, going to an event, and know what you want from that event. It could be you want to meet that type of person. It could be you want 5 conversations to learn about this type of area of business or property. It could be that you just want to go and be seen. You don't have to have a hard result, but just be clear on why you're going to these events. When you set an intention, you almost receive back what you're looking for. When you're looking for something, you often see it, and just being clear on what you're looking for brings that to you. And then I think the other tip is really just to know your value in the room. Remember why you're there, what you can offer people. So be fresh in your mind, go in a good state. Don't sort of at the end of the day think, I'm exhausted, I should go to that event, because you're not going to have a great time. Just do the great things you need to do to get yourself in that mindset for being open and connecting and building rapport.
How does MIPIM work though, Jane? Because you are really, really pushing the boat in terms of how much networking you do. Or would you really be quite selective still? I dropped MIPIM in there because that's where you were in March, I think.
Yeah.
And it's one of the world's most noted, or probably the world's most noted property networking event, or world's most noted property event rather than just networking. And I think 20 to 30,000 people attend that event. So how do you manage to create boundless amounts of energy?
Like I said, it's at the end of the day, a working day. Most networking events in property happen in the evening. At the end of the day, a lot of people are exhausted, but you have to bring in that combination of knowing what you want, going in with that open mind to the possibility of what's going to come in front of you. You go into a room with 100 people and you have no idea who they are. That's quite exciting, I think, because you expect anything that happens, any connection, and when you've got that vision of that's what I want for the night, you almost feel like they're almost drawing towards you. So if you want, I really want to speak to a broker about this, the chances are a broker will come up to you somehow. When you've got that intention, it really does work. So somewhere like MIPIM, I set the intention to connect with, I think it was about 5 meaningful conversations with high net worth individuals. And yeah, of course you have them. You know, you just have to let go of that, and then they come to you. The worst thing you can do is force it. And MIPIM is that it's just that opportunity to go and see who's in the market, be seen, have some champagne and some canapes on the beach. Yeah, it's an amazing event, but it's all about the same thing. You just have to go, not be afraid of getting out there and actually telling people, listening to people, connecting and telling people what you're doing.
So Jane, you mentioned about vision, and I'd love to hear more from you, and that's the perfect place next Wednesday where we're here a little bit more. It's not going to be a full hour. It's going to be about a 20-30 minute presentation from yourself, but I'm fascinated by it because, to be fair, I said to Luke recently, I co-host the Central London Evening Meet, look, I haven't done as much networking as possible, and I don't think we put this one on camera. And Luke was talking about how important the vision is, and it's quite interesting you come back with that same as well.
Exactly, because you can go to so many networking events and come away with nothing, and so there's no point. You can network every day of the week, and as long as you're doing it, as long as you're making it effective, that's the main thing, because your time is valuable. Especially if you're a lawyer, or your time is actually measured per hour. You've got to, if you're going to something like that, you've got to actually really know the value that you want and that you bring. So you have to connect with the right audience. So next week I'll talk a little bit about how to build that connection, the really important factors, how to set your intention for what you want, and give you some practical tools that you might not have realized before, thought of, that might help you work out how to get the most from your networking events.
Jane, I just want to say huge thanks for your time this morning. I really look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. And those people who can't make it on Wednesday, the 3rd of May, is there a way to connect with you? Is it LinkedIn? Is that going to be the preferential way to connect with you, Jane?
Yeah, LinkedIn is great. Drop me an email. I'm also on Twitter, and I'm also on Snapchat, and I'm also on Instagram. So, and obviously through East8 as well.
Sure. So, Jane, if people want to find out more about East8, how can they find out more about East8?
Our website is east-8.com. We've recently updated it, so it's got a lot of our developments on there, what we've built, the value we've managed to create in those properties. Obviously, we've got a live project at the moment on simpleequity.co.uk, which is closing in, I think, 3 days, which is very exciting. We've had a recent flurry of interest in that in the last couple of days. And obviously on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, we have our company accounts too, so you can have a look there.
Jane, I just want to say huge thanks for taking time out today, and huge thanks to the listeners, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday morning. Thanks, Jane. Thank you.